Hey guys, welcome back to 2021. What now? What's happening now? January 7th. We are now in a Biden term. 4 years of Joe Biden. Okay, buckle up. Here we go. Those of you who've listened to some of the other videos I've done, this isn't about blue or red, right, left, Biden, Trump, blah, blah, blah. This is really about what now? What are we expecting? What are we going to do? What's going to happen? What's Joe Biden going to do? What's Trump not going to do? What is Saturday Night Live going to make fun of? Is it that Joe is old and fragile and can't finish the sentence, or that his son is addicted to sex and porn and drugs and whatever? Or that he is going to step away and Kamala Harris is going to be the president, and what? The circus has entered a new phase, right? 4 years of Biden-Harris. Okay, fully accepted. I'm in. I'm going along with now legally certified who our president is. Is he the favorite person in the world that I was hoping to become president? No, absolutely not. I think lots of people who voted for Biden, which was more of an anti-Trump vote, know this too, that he's not the most ideal person. They also know Kamala Harris isn't, but I think a lot of people are blinded by the fact that she's a minority. She's the first woman in that position, which is amazing. Congratulations. It's awesome. Yay, for sure. Is she the best person for the job? I don't know. I don't know enough about politics, but really this episode isn't about that, okay? So what this is about really is, it's not about Biden or Trump. It's not about per se the puppets that are set on this little stage, this little puppet show, right? It's not even the theater, the U.S., the political theater that the U.S. is. It's really more about the global string pullers that are the ones basically writing these plays that the puppets play out, right? So if you're really thinking that a lot is going to change in 4 years, that's going to affect you personally, or even the United States, or the climate, or equality, racism, all those movements. If you really think a lot is going to happen, I have to tell you that it's not, because, look at someone like Joe Biden, who's been in office for, I think, over 40 years. And people are saying, what has he really done, right? I mean, think about it. If that's your life's career, and maybe he's just worked up to this so that he could be the president. But I mean, he was the vice president under an African-American president that had eight years, right? 2 terms. I mean, what else do we think Joe Biden's actually going to achieve in this area? If President Obama hasn't really put a big dent into the sort of anti-racism movement, I mean, I'm sure he's made waves and there's been some dents and progress made, but really, I don't think what most people expect is going to happen is actually going to happen. The one thing that I am predicting is going to happen is that COVID's going to go away a little faster than with President Trump. To me, that has to do with the sort of globalist agenda that COVID was a very convenient pandemic to happen, a convenient virus that now we can sort of attempt this globalist reset, this economic reset, which I said from the beginning, the moment this supposedly called pandemic happened, I said there's some kind of covert economic reset happening. And now that I know it's no longer a conspiracy, it's actually a plan. It's part of the World Economic Forum's The Great Reset initiative. Now it's not anything to be surprised by. But I'm mentioning this because just because now Biden is in office and Trump, the sort of rude bully agitator, is out, doesn't mean any of those agendas stop. If anything, Trump and the Democrats are more supportive of those kind of agendas because it's a globalist kind of almost socialist, let's all get along and own nothing and be happy and, rent everything and let's be a global citizen, transhumans, right? That's all part of, they're not hiding it. That can be, you can look that up. I mean, it's not a coincidence that Joe Biden's slogan is Build Back Better, which is actually the Great Reset's slogan as well, the World Economic Forum's slogan for the Great Reset, one of the slogans. So now that I've gotten all that out of the way, right, you can pick and choose some of the stuff I've said you don't agree with, look it up, Google it, you'll find it. It's not a conspiracy, it's out there on main resources, even on their own website. Now what? Now we have this new president. We're moving forward with hope. And trust me, I'm with you on that. We need change. And I believe change happens at the individual level, has nothing to do with the laws Joe Biden or Kamala Harris are going to implement or fight or whatever, or whether we're going to go back into the climate accord, Paris, or NATO, or any of the things that the left most likely will undo because of Trump having put them in place. They're going to have to undo everything. It's just sort of like what I call the default stupidity of politics, is that a new president will automatically go ahead and undo everything the previous president has done to prove a point that, well, he was an idiot. I know better, so I'm going to undo all of that and do my own, right? It's just part of the circus. It's kind of how it works. So a lot of undoing will be done, and a lot of smoke and mirrors will happen. A lot of things will be said and that are going to sound great, like equality and end to racism and save the world. Climate change is real, and COVID. We need to rethink how we do finances and mortgages, and all that stuff is going to kick in the next 4 years. And I just want you to be aware of it. And I've said it here, and many thousands of YouTubers and other people with content, media platforms have said this too. I'm not the first one to say this. I'm actually, as a matter of fact, I'm more on the heels of a lot of very intelligent people who've done research for over 20, 30 years in some cases into these topics that you and I, the average person, well, if we spend 10 hours, 20 hours on it, we're lucky. And we think we're informed, and we think we went past, page 1 on Google, but it's going to take much more than that. And I think there's people out there that are not getting enough credit because they've been labeled as conspiracy theorists or too far right, too far left, whatever it is. But if somebody spends 30 years researching a specific topic, they just know more things than the average person. And I think the average person's influenced by the media, by the mass media, quick messaging of like, yeah, that's conspiracy, that's bullshit, that's airy-fairy, whatever. And we just put it aside, right? And I get it. Look, we have busy lives and we need someone to tell us what's true because we don't have time to spend our entire life researching that deep unless we make it our passion, our main thing in life, right? Which most of us don't have the time to do. So what now? Now what? 2021. What's next? Well, what's next is really simple. What's next is for you and I, in our own lives, to start lifting up the little doormats and to start, cleaning up and brushing away the dust and the dirt, going into the nooks and the crannies of our own dark shadows of manipulation and fraud and lying and hiding. Because we're human beings. We do this naturally. Most of us would never admit that we've committed fraud, that we've cheated, that we've lied, that we've withheld, manipulated. It's just not something to admit and be proud of. Well, I'm here to say it actually is, because that's what makes us human, is to say, yes, I have lied to my friend. I have cheated on my partner. I have manipulated my kids into doing something. I am withholding information. I do often play along, play nice, and, instead of being honest. We all do it. And that's what's next, is cleaning that up. Because when we clean that up, little by little, we radiate that authenticity, that integrity out into our community and out into our places of work. And then when there's a work meeting or a community meeting, then the voices will step up. The authentic voices who are committed to integrity will say, hold on, stop, I disagree, here's why. And when you can't be touched, when someone's trying to take you down and say, well, who are you? Then you can say, well, I am who I am, and I have been inauthentic, and I'm working on fixing it. So I know there's fraud because I've frauded, I've lied, I've manipulated, I've cheated. I'm not a stand we continue doing this in our communities. I'm not a stand we do this in our families, in politics, in our world, in our country, right? Then someone can really step up and be a solid stand, a stand that cannot be messed with. Because you, the person taking that stand, that nobody can fuck with you except yourself. You can fuck it up for yourself. But when we're honest with ourselves and the people in our lives continuously, it's going to affect other people. And that's the only thing there is to do in the next 4 years. Now, I say 4 years because people are so bent out of shape about this term, and now it's a new term, a new 4 years. But really, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change that's going to affect the average person on a daily basis. Now, I know some of you are thinking that's bullshit. It's going to affect the future, the children, Well, look, everything affects everything anyway, period. Okay, so yes, it is going to change. It is going to affect certain things. But it's the things that are being promised that will not happen. And that's part of politics, to promise a big game and then not deliver. And I've always said this, why don't we have an accountability system in the government where every president that's coming in makes his promises? That's a list that gets, put out there publicly. You can look it up. It's a list of promises. And then there's a tracker to each promise to see if that president is working on it, it's been fulfilled, it's been completed or not. And in the end, when you finish your term, you get evaluated by your integrity, what you promised to do. You said A, did you do A? And if you did everything, you have a 100% score. And maybe there's a thing where if you don't have at least a 75% score, right, of integrity, you cannot be reelected, period. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's going to be a lot of manipulation and cheating and hiding and, but we got to start somewhere. We got to hold the people in office accountable. And not accountable as in like, well, in the article by the LA Times when they first started, he said this, and now we've heard sources. Now, that's all bullshit. No, it has to be a direct accountability system that we all have access to, and they have to be the sources have to be quoted. There has to be photos. If you want to build a wall between the United States and Mexico, then whether we agree or not, if that was one of the promises of the current president, then we need to see progress. We need to see photos. We need to have links of sites that prove to us that it's actually in the works, because that's the integrity score, right? So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here with that, but I think that's what needs to happen in politics. But until we individually each create that system in our own families, in our own lives, it's never going to happen out there in the world. It's never out there. It's always over here. So what now? What now is, yeah, we got a new president, but the real work starts right now, right here, with you and I, your family, my family, your community, my community, your country, my country. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. The real work starts over here. I hope you join me. And if you like this channel, like and subscribe, leave a comment, interact. I'd love that. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.